Alright guys and gals, welcome back to another video. This is Jack signing on, and in this one I wanted to talk about why skill-based matchmaking will indeed be returning in Call of Duty 2020, or to be a little bit more specific, why I truly believe that skill-based matchmaking will be returning in Call of Duty 2020, also known as Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And the two gameplays that you're seeing here are ripped from my live stream, and one was from 4 days ago. It was a free-for-all nuke, and the other one is a TDM nuke that was from earlier today, both the atomizer strikes, so I hope you guys enjoy that. And rest assured, if there was skill-based matchmaking to the degree that we have in Modern Warfare in this game, there was no way in motherfucking hell, unless I was reverse boosting, which, as you guys know, if you've been here for a while, I do not do. Unless I was reverse boosting, there's no motherfucking hell that I would be able to drop a de-atomizer strike in this game if the skill-based matchmaking was as thick as it is in Modern Snorfare, Modern Warfare, Modern Piece of Crap, Modern Campfest, you know, Modern Joe Seacock galore, right? But anyway, let's get into the subject here now. But first, though, I want to actually start at the very beginning, which is actually on the other side of skill-based matchmaking. In other words, where skill-based matchmaking is hardly visible. Like back during the Black Ops 1 days or the Black Ops 2 days, or actually no, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 2 days, COD 4 days, you know. Okay. Now, my best friend and I, the Maglor the Wise, as I'm going to call him, because he is a very, very wise individual. We were talking about the comparisons of Call of Duty and Halo back during the Modern Warfare 2 Black Ops 1 days, or somewhere around those days, right? So here is the thing. One of the reasons why, well, let me tell you something. The biggest reason why skill-based matchmaking doesn't belong in Call of Duty pubs is simply because it is so easy to get and kill in Call of Duty when you compare it to another game like, let's say, Halo or an Overwatch. That is one of the reasons, that's part of the formula. That is one of the reasons why Call of Duty is so popular in the first place. It's one of the things that made Call of Duty so popular. Before then, before COD 4 and before Modern Warfare 2, what did we have that was the most popular thing? We had Halo, right? And back then, it was basically our only option in terms of multiplayer first-person shooters, up until Call of Duty came around in COD 4 in 2007 and put their hand into the mix and offered something completely different that actually appealed to a lot of players, namely the casuals. Why? Because it was a lot easier to get a kill when you compare it to Halo. And on top of that, that was just part of the formula. There was something else as well. There was the fact that you can customize your weapons and just customize your class. So you could play in different ways or use different weapons, which in Halo back then, which was 2007, when Halo 3 was out, you couldn't do that. You couldn't customize your weapons. You just had to pick them up from the ground. And you couldn't put attachments on them. You couldn't have any perks or anything like that. You had to go around and pick them up. And on top of that, I mean, Halo just didn't really have perks in the first place. So, and the speed was a little bit different. It was a whole 60 frames per second, which was another big deal to a lot of players. Actually, that the 60 frames per second was something that brought over a lot of PC players up into console, because back then, the game space on PC wasn't quite where it is today. PC is obviously making a comeback. I mean, consoles themselves are becoming closer and closer to what PCs are. So, but anyway, going back on topic here, the biggest reason is that those are the reasons why skill-based matchmaking does not belong. However, right now, because times have changed, players have changed, and if you look at even the games back then, if you were to remaster them and put them in the games now, like for instance, the better example of this is Modern Warfare 20. I'm sorry, not Modern Warfare 2019, but Modern Warfare Remastered. Modern Warfare Remastered is not played the same way as COD 4, and it's not just because it's remastered, because it feels a little bit different due to the remastered and the change of graphics and all that kind of stuff, and you know, some of the code or whatever it is. It's not just that; it's beyond that. We're seeing a lot more campers, aren't we? We're seeing a lot more campers. We're seeing a lot more defensive play. We're seeing people taking positions that they never did before. We're not seeing as many people run around, right? And that is because, to a certain degree, everything has evolved. And that's part of the reason why I think Modern Warfare 2019 is the way it is. Games like Rainbow Six Siege, for instance, which is a terrific game for what it is. It's a very passive game. It's a chess match. It's a lot more defensive. And there's a lot more strategy that goes with it. So in a sense, Call of Duty kind of adapted that into their own formula, so to speak, in order to try to gain popularity. And to a certain degree, they've definitely succeeded. But the reason why Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 is so popular is because of Warzone, and Warzone itself actually does have skill-based matchmaking. I think in the beginning maybe it didn't. but then they implemented it in the game. Or maybe it just took a certain number of games up until the algorithm started kicking in, whether it was 5 or 10. I know Exclusive Ace and Drifter made videos about it, but I think it was anywhere from 5 to 10 games. But the thing is that even Warzone itself, Drifter made a video today, or should I say yesterday, depending on when you watch this video, probably yesterday, because it's 1:05 a.m. right now. So yesterday, Drifter made a video talking about the death of Warzone, and skill-based matchmaking is one of those reasons, and a couple of the other things that he mentioned. But we're basically going to stick with skill-based matchmaking because that's what we're talking about here. And the thing is, they need to basically protect the noobs as much as they can. Now, you and I and other YouTubers out there or whatever can argue the fact until our nose bleeds or until our ears fall off of why it doesn't belong in the game and how it kills the game and how we basically never had to rely on that and we didn't have to be held by the hand. We didn't have to be given all these safe spaces and rooms and stuff like that in order for us to hide in. We basically had to learn the way that learning is meant to be in the first place. You know what I mean? I understand the value of kind of holding somebody by the hand and given them training wheels, so to speak. I kind of understand because I'm not good at everything. I mean, even my best friend will tell you that. I mean, I'm definitely not good at everything. And there's a lot of things that I've done in my life or attempted to do in my life where I didn't succeed and I absolutely sucked at them and I just didn't belong. But I guarantee you that if I stuck with it, I mean, if I was interested enough to stick with it, that I would have eventually gotten better and I would have reaped the rewards. But right now, what they're doing is they're making the process easier by adding in skill-based matchmaking and additionally protecting those people against players like me and players like you that might be watching this video or players like some of the top YouTubers out there or whatnot or whatever you want to call it. So, and the thing is, these casual players that are being protected are the ones that are most likely to basically make these purchases and microtransactions because they don't care. They're not as aware as you and I are about the bullshit. They're not as aware of how Activision does business or whatnot and all these things that happen in between that you and I that watch Call of Duty videos here on YouTube, as well as some of us that create content as well that watch my stuff, as well as me watching your stuff. We're not the majority. Now, time has evolved and the game has evolved. And as I mentioned previously, games from the past are not even being played the same way as they once were because of just evolution or whatever, or de-evolution, depending on however you look at it. So the thing is, because times have changed, therefore skill-based matchmaking is implemented. And that's the way they're looking at it. And that is the player base today. And on top of that, you even got players that are actually pretty good players that not only don't want to sweat all the time, I could definitely understand that, but the part that I kind of frown upon is, they quit easily. Good players with high KDs and that play in groups especially, they want easy lobby after easy lobby, and they don't want to deal with somebody like myself, which I had to deal with them on stream, and it was really good to it was really satisfying to come back and basically nerf them, so to speak, with my own abilities and my experience with playing solo, which is a lot more difficult to do than when playing with other players. And that's another thing that they're trying to also do with skill-based matchmaking that's kind of like a hidden secondary factor. With skill-based matchmaking, it also forces players, good or bad, to play together.
I'll go this way.
And, well, not force, but a lot of people like to play that way. But for people that normally wouldn't, they play together. Like, for instance, solos, I'm sure, in Battle Royale isn't nearly as popular as quads. And please correct me if I'm wrong. But solos doesn't seem to be as popular as quads are. And the reason is because of everything I just mentioned. Like whenever you watch, for instance, a Battle Royale, I mean, wouldn't you guys want to see Shroud and Dr. Disrespect team up with a professional Call of Duty player like Scump and Formal, and they make their own power team and they try to mollywop everybody or go against other teams of really good players or whatnot? That's just the way the cookie crumbles in 2020, man. That's what we have evolved into. And these are the reasons why skill-based matchmaking will be implemented in the next game. It's either one of two things. It's either a team balancing algorithm or the skill-based matchmaking. Oh, by the way, it's the team balancing algorithm with a whole bunch of cheese. Extra cheese, so to speak, which itself, to a certain extent, is a way to kind of nerf us. Because we could be one off a nuke, and all somebody has to do is have a specialist and melt us without earning it. It just happened to get in their hands because that's how it works with specialists or whatnot. You guys see where I'm going with this? So when you put everything together, this video could easily be twice as long, but I don't want to do that. But the thing is that because of everything I mentioned here and then some, skill-based matchmaking is going to return, is likely to return in the next Call of Duty. Hate to say it, but it's the truth. But anyway, that's all I got for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. This is Jack. signing off.